WLNS is here for you with 6 News at 6.
People are looking for answers as Head Start programs throughout mid-Michigan closed today over funding concerns. Well, officials gave 6 News those answers. It's our top story tonight at 6. Thank you for joining us. I'm Siobhan Klepfer. Sherry Jones is off tonight. Parents with children at Head Start programs through Capital Area Community Services are confused and frustrated. It stems from an executive order by President Trump that froze federal funding, which led to many of these programs being closed today. But after some clarification, all of the schools will be open tomorrow. Our Rachel Ramsey is here for you now to explain.
Yeah, Siobhan, now that order was rescinded a few hours ago, but before that happened, CACS says it could not access its funding account yesterday, which caused concern. So they let parents know that Head Start would be closed indefinitely, and they let staff know they were temporarily laid off. Some facilities were able to stay open today because they have other funding sources, but CACS leaders say they are no longer under the impression their federal funding is in jeopardy.
There's no school. They don't know where to take these children.
This morning, Ronaldo Medrano still wasn't sure what was going on. He thought he was going to have to take care of his grandson.
I told my son, if I got to bring baby Frankie to work with me, I'll put a paintbrush in his hand and put him to work.
So it was a relief for him to hear Head Start programs will be back open tomorrow.
He loves coming here. It's a great school. These are great teachers.
The changes in executive leadership always comes with some type of confusion. This level of confusion, however, is unprecedented.
Dr. Nalana Nobles with CACS says the organization could not access its payment system after the executive order came down. Since it seemed their funding was paused and the school day was ending, they started preparing, letting parents and staff know they were closed until further notice and temporary layoffs were activated.
It's just a fiscal responsibility to make sure you have the money behind your actions.
Soon after, the federal government announced that it was an outage that kept Head Start programs from accessing their funding, then clarified that Head Start programs were not part of the freeze. Around the same time, Dr. Nobles says CACS was able to get into their funding account.
However, the access did not include the confirmation of the ability to draw funds.
Dr. Nobles says it wasn't until around 9 a.m. today when CACS finally got confirmation they could draw funds that they felt comfortable to let staff and parents know things would go back to normal tomorrow, and those temporary layoffs were lifted.
We're feeling pretty good about things right now.
Dr. Nobles says she appreciates the community's patience.
Our intention was really to make sure that we were being good stewards of federal dollars, good stewards of the responsibility we had that we share with our community, and our actions that we took are really based on that.
All of this confusion seems to have come from things happening so fast. The White House announced the freeze Monday night with little to no direction, leaving organizations frantically trying to figure things out. Dr. Nobles says 1,600 kids across 4 counties rely on this program, and all of its buildings will be open tomorrow. Siobhan, back to you.
All right, Rachel, thank you very much for that update. Speaking of education, today the K-12 Alliance of Michigan marked the 50th anniversary of a law that made education available to millions of students with disabilities. We're talking about the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, or IDEA, which makes sure students with disabilities are provided access to public education. But the K-12 Alliance says in the 50 years since its passage, Congress has never fulfilled its promise to pay 40% of the costs for IDEA.
Through 12 schools across Michigan and across our country have been forced to do more with less, resulting in cuts to critical programs and services that impact all children in the entire school community. Increased funding for IDEA will help relieve budget pressures.
Right now, federal spending barely covers just over 10% of the costs associated with the IDEA program, falling short of the promised funding by $650 million. Another goose die-off is causing concern tonight, this time in Owasso, and the DNR suspects bird flu as the culprit. Our Zach Priest has been working this story since last week. He's here for you tonight with the very latest.
Very concerning. So I see the people walking up and down the river, especially right in my area, and just tell them not to touch them, just so it doesn't spread anymore.
William Stowers is worried about bird flu spreading to humans. When he first saw the dead geese, though, he didn't think of bird flu.
We thought it was the cold snap we had at the beginning of the week, and as the weather started to break, we figured they were getting poisoned or somebody was killing them.
But now, the DNR says it was likely caused by avian influenza. Stowers is worried for animals and people alike.
Just a sickness going around that could affect other animals or even us, handling. I did see kids picking them up to bury them.
MSU experts tell us that people can contract the disease, but there are precautions to take to stay safe.
Animals that are infected with, and especially those that may have died from the virus, likely contain a lot of virus. And so handling dead animals is a potential risk factor. Keeping one's distance from those birds and animals is very important.
Vets say that domestic animals also are at risk.
We have seen mortality in cats that have consumed wild birds or those that have consumed contaminated milk from infected cows.
As for Stowers, he says he doesn't want to take chances with his cats.
They're part of the family. So, we're going to try to put them away or lock them up somewhere just so they don't, until they figure out what it is that's actually going on.
Here for you in Owasso, Zach Prees, 6 News.
Thank you, Zach. Police arrested a man in Jackson after they say he gave a fake name during a traffic stop. This happened on Monday. Jackson Police and Fire Services say the man was drunk at the time, and when officers searched his car, they found a stolen pistol. When investigators figured out his actual identity, it turned out there was a felony warrant for his arrest on multiple charges. We do have an update for you tonight on a police chase and shooting that happened in the city of Lansing Sunday night. The suspect in this case, 54-year-old Andrew Garza, is facing felony charges.
We're going to go west on Willow. He's shooting out the window at us.
The chase began around 10:30 near the intersection of Cesar Chavez and Massachusetts Avenues. Police and prosecutors say Garza fired shots at a home and then during the chase at police officers. Nobody was hurt. Police tell 6 News he had 2 pistols and an AR-15 rifle. The charges against him include discharging a gun from a car, fleeing and eluding police, and even impersonating a police officer. Now, 6 News has reached out to Lansing Police to learn more about that charge, and we will update you here on air and online when we have new information.
From Storm Tracker 6, this is Weather First, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
I guess I would classify this forecast as a mild forecast, but it will be cold enough at times to support some wet snow in the area. High temperature trend, we're going back into the 40s as we head into Thursday. On Friday, we're in the upper 30s. Then we're back in the 40s over the weekend. And while it does look cooler next week, our average high is climbing to near 32 degrees about 10 days from now as we head closer and closer to the springtime season. Our temperatures currently, we've cooled off from our earlier readings that were near 40 degrees. We're down to 29 in Lansing, 31 for St. John's, 32 in Charlotte. Still relatively mild, upper 30s towards Adrian. Wind chills low to mid 20s, so it's plenty cold out there this evening, but boy, doesn't it look beautiful once again. McLaren Cam, our current temperature, that's at 33 degrees. Today's high 41. Wind gust today was close to 30 miles per hour. In Grand Ledge, a lot of color in the sky as well. Temperature at 33 after a high today of 40. Wind gust up to 35 miles per hour, a little bit higher. Jackson Cam looking gorgeous once again. Lots of beautiful color out there. Temperature, that's at 34 degrees. Almost made it to 40. 39 the high temperature. Wind gust was up to 40 miles per hour. Hillsdale, we've got mostly sunny skies or mostly clear skies. Temperature 35. Today's high 40 and our wind gust a little over 30 miles per hour. Still some flurries to our north. We had a few snow showers here, but those have since moved out. Temperatures cold to the north, 20s and teens showing up, and even some single digits or near zero as you move into southern Canada. But we're still on the relatively mild side of things, and that's kind of where we're going to stay for the next several days. Tomorrow morning, we'll have mostly clear skies at 7 o'clock. Through the day, we should get plenty of sunshine, but clouds will start to increase in the late afternoon. Temperatures are going to warm Thursday night, and so that should support mainly rain showers across the area. But we're in the upper 30s on Friday, so any precipitation could mix with some wet snow. And if it does, if it changed over to some wet snow, then we might be looking at a slushy inch or so of accumulation. I just think the odds of that happening look fairly low and looks like mainly a rain event. Tonight's forecast, overnight low drops to 22 degrees. Skies partly cloudy and winds fairly light, so not a bad night out there. Planning your day tomorrow looks okay. Temperature-wise, 24 at 7 o'clock, near 40 at noon. And highs tomorrow afternoon should climb into the mid-40s, but clouds will quickly increase tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. And then the rain showers begin to move in as we head into tomorrow night. On Friday, could be a little rainy and some wet snow mixing in. Saturday's colder with highs near 30, but then we warm right back into the 40s for Groundhog Day. On Sunday, looks like mainly rain once again, but initially it could have a little bit of snow in there. Temperatures Monday and Tuesday, not too bad, in the 30s and then falling into the 20s. And then next Wednesday, Thursday, if there's a system to watch out for, it's probably Wednesday into Wednesday night, as we're cold enough for either some snow or some freezing rain and snow, and then it changes over to rain as warmer air moves in.
Okay, lots to kind of think about, David, for you. Like, there's lots of moving pieces with this forecast.
Yeah, I mean, some of the parts of the forecast, like the system on Thursday, you feel pretty good about that.
Yeah.
Next week's what we call a low confidence forecast, because we're not really sure how quickly that changeover would come. And there's a chance the system could miss us just to the south.
Okay, well, we wait and see.
So lots of moving parts.
Yeah, thank you, David. Well, coming up, a new poll shows there is a clear favorite for the Republican nomination to the governor's office. We'll take a look at the numbers next. Stay with us. You're watching 6 News at 6.